and welcome to the Piney Wood Stitcher. My name is Amanda, and this is a floss tube mostly about cross stitch. I also do some pin paling. It's one of my hobbies that I do, and talk about a little bit of my life in the Piney Woods. I changed spaces from last time, as you can see. That is my backyard. There's about 40 pine trees back there, and it's nice for shade, but it's bad for mosquitoes, and Texas mosquitoes are like this big around. They're huge. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I've kind of got a little bit of everything. I've got a finish that I didn't finish this week. It was actually my very first finish, and it's the only thing I've kept so far that I've stitched, and it's teeny tiny. And then I do have a new start this week. It's gonna be a gift for my brother-in-law, but we'll talk about that later. First, I did want to show a little happy mail I got this week. It's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting to me. I don't know if y'all don't like it, let me know, and I won't show any of the happy mail that I get. But first thing is I got a postcard from Yosemite, and it does have the postmark on it. I'll kind of cover it up, but there it shows the Yosemite postmark on it. I have a pen pal that likes to travel all the national parks, and so she likes to send me her postcards from there. They're really fun to get, and I have a wall in my craft room with the door, and it's just postcards from different countries. I thought that was pretty neat and something cool to show. But I always love receiving like fun stuff like that in the mail. It just brightens your day, especially like when you haven't gotten something in the mail in a long time, and then you go to your P.O. box and there's a bunch of stuff in there. So next, I'm gonna show my finish, and it's really small, and it's kind of sideways right now because it moved, but it's just, oh, there's a big glare. It's just a little squirrel, and I even did some like I changed some colors I didn't have the called for, so I just picked whatever was closest. But this is my only finish. It's so tiny. I got it out of the 365 Tiny Cross Stitch Designs, and it's by Cooler Design Studios, and it's actually October. It's in the October, where is that? Where was it? Oh, wrong page. Oh, there it is. It's the October 1st one right there. But once upon a time, I had an idea that I was gonna stitch everything in this book and just start on January 1st and stitch one of these every day. That didn't happen, obviously, and some of them just aren't my style, and I wouldn't enjoy stitching them, so like, why stitch them, I guess. Next, let's go into my whips, and we'll show the progress. I'm gonna go from, the first one is gonna be my sampler piece. It got the least amount of stitches. If I'm being honest, it's my least favorite one. I am just not a fan of samplers, it turns out. I don't like the monotony of stitching the alphabet, especially when it's like uppercase and lowercase and all the counting. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm hoping once I get to the bottom of the pattern, it won't be as boring, but what I'm stitching is the Margaret Moffat 1896 sampler. I got this out of the Just Cross Stitch, or it's from the Gift of Stitching magazine. I bought all their back issues, and this is what it's going to look like right there. And this week I stitched 280 stitches on it. I started this in sometime in 2020, probably between October and December. I know it's like a long gap, but I picked it up and then I stopped. And this is on like a 28 count even weave, but this is as far as I've gotten. So I last time I didn't have the Z done, and so I've gotten the whole bottom border. I did all the alphabet, and then I've started down there. And this is a little the needle minder. I should have wrote down. I'll have it linked below. It's linked in my last video too. All of my needle minders are from there. I just got like a mystery box of needle minders, and it came with 3 of them. There are some that are from Hobby Lobby, but you'll be able to tell which ones those are. So that is as far as I've gotten on this one in a week. I think that's not too bad considering I worked on all of these, and then when you see how many stitches I got in the other ones, it might make a little bit more sense. So we'll see. So the next one I did is the post office. It's from Little House Needleworks. It's the hometown holiday post office. Like I had mentioned in my last video, this is gonna have a special spot in my craft room where I keep all of my incoming letters, because I go to the post office every single day. Just to check my P.O. box, or I've got something that needs to go out to a pen pal, or like a swap that I'm doing. And so it's, you know, some people complain about the post office. I love it. I love going. My daughter loves going with me. We get, sometimes I get like kid stickers in the mail, and her favorite thing is to stick them in her little, it's like a little journal. It's like just a little sticker journal, and she puts all of her stickers in there, and it's like a fun thing and a fun thing to do to get out of the house too. So she likes that. She's my little post office buddy. But I got 399 stitches done on this one, which is a good amount. I didn't spend too long on it, and I started this one in December of 2020, and I got it off a 1 2 3 stitch. I think it was on sale maybe. So this is what I've gotten. I don't know, let me put something behind it so you can, that might not be any better, but we'll see. So as far as I've gotten, last time all I really had was like this part and like a little piece of the tree and the door. But I did some snow. I finished all of, like I did this part up here. I've got some of the top where this will be a black and it'll say post office and start on the tree. It's been really fun. I've started, there's hoop marks on it, but I had started stitching in hand on a couple of these pieces just because it's easier, and I can, if I'm in the right light, I'm fine and I can do it, and figured why not. I'm not a huge fan of stitching over 2. It's still kind of like a, I don't know, pain for me. Like just the mental counting it has been a pain, but I'm working on it. And this is on, let's see, this is on the called for fabric. This is on 30 count Portobello linen, from, I guess it says Excess Commodities. But it's been a fun little stitch. I'm enjoying it. At first I wasn't. I was a little hesitant because it is such a, like a, it's a high count, and I had to do it over 2, and I wasn't into it at all. But now it's one of my favorites. When I work on it, I'm happy, which is what you should be. You should be happy when you're stitching. So, and if you're not happy, you should stop, because the last thing you need is to get yourself burnt out on something and because you didn't like it and not want to stitch anymore. So let's move on. I guess I will show my big piece, which is the Labyrinth. This is by Pain Free Crafts, and I did 1,151 stitches on this week. My goal was to do 200 stitches a day. Some days I did more. I think there was like one day I didn't make 200. I might be putting this, I'm not going to be doing 200 stitches a day on this anymore, and I'll talk about that later, but I might be putting this one down for a little while just because it's so confetti heavy, and I kind of remember now why I put it down, because it is just so much confetti, and I've been really enjoying doing long blocks of stitching in one color, and it's so time consuming. So I'm not saying it's going away. I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna finish it eventually, but my goal to finish it in a year, I don't know, but we'll see. So this is as far as I've gotten. It doesn't look like a whole lot. Let me see, I'll put some behind it. But I mean, that's a big chunk. That bubble wasn't done yet. And there was a lot, there was a lot of it, like a lot of parking stuff down here that I've gotten rid of. And I'll show what it's supposed to look like here in a second. But yeah, that's how far I've gotten. At first I was thinking that I was gonna get rid of the parking and just do like the one color down, which is kind of what I've been doing. I'm not gonna do too much of that though. And I was gonna go like down this way, and I've started to go this way, and I haven't figured out a style that I actually like on this, like on full coverage pieces. So especially with this one, like I'm not stitching this one in hand, obviously I'm doing it in a snap. So we'll see. I don't like the stand. I have just like a wooden stand that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's not my favorite. I don't have very good light in my living room because we have all of these trees. This is the only like bright spot in my yard. Everything like that way and on the other side is all trees, and so my living room is right there, and all of the it's like all shaded, and there's only one window, so there's no good light in my living room to stitch. The best light is in my bedroom, but then I'm away from my husband and all that, and become a hermit, and I kind of want to be like at least in the same room as him. So here is what it's going to look like when it's done. And so far I've got those two bubbles, and I'm working this way. I'm hoping to get into his hair soon. I just need like a color change. I'm really tired of the blues and purples, and that might be why I'm so like not knowing if I'm gonna stick to this one for any large amount of time. And I know this looks silly. It was my tablet, and then now it's my daughter's, or was my daughter's. She got a new one, and but this is the only one that has the paid for version of Pattern Keeper on it, and so it's mine now. So we'll see. I've done, just to give you an overview, this has, it'll show up. This has 63,525 stitches in it, and I've done 4,323 stitches, and I'm only 6.81% done. So it's gonna be, I'm such a huge fan of the movie, and I didn't logically think like, oh, I'm relatively new to cross stitch. Maybe I should just decide to start this full coverage piece just because it's a movie that I like. Well, I love the movie, but you know, it's not really sane thinking right there. I would not suggest anybody just have one of their first starts be a full coverage, but what do I know? So the next one is, I call it Sunset, and it's called Landscape Sunset something 69 on 2x2 stitch art on Etsy. I'm doing this on 16 count Ada, and I started this 2 weeks ago, I think. And I've put 559 stitches in it since last time. So this is the way it's up. I keep on doing that. So this is as far as I've gotten. You can see like some of the tree, and so I was kind of doing this in the way I would do my usual, like how I was doing my labyrinth full coverage piece and just doing it square by square. But I'm stitching this in hand, and it was just going too slow having to hold the hoop, and so I decided to do it in hand. And now I think what I'm gonna do with this one is, since it is big blocks of color, I'm just going to I'm just gonna follow the color basically on the page and just do long blocks of color until I get bored of that color, and then move on to the one touching it, just to keep me entertained, just like to keep me in it, because I was starting to get bored with it and I don't need to be getting bored. So here's what it's gonna look like at the end. And so like I'm right here in this little middle part, and I've gotten like right there is where I'm at, and I'm kind of doing all this yellow stuff. I've gotten some of this blue. That's pretty much what I'm doing. And I got this pattern because it was on sale. It was like $2.25 for the pattern. And like, why not? You know, it's $2.25. And I had most of the floss on hand, so it wasn't a big money investment. And so, but this has 13,208 stitches in it, and I've put 954 in there. And I'm 7.22% done. So I'm making better progress on that one than my labyrinth one. I've been working on that for almost a year now. So now I want to talk about my new start. And I know last time I had talked about doing like a poll on my Instagram and, you know, having people vote on which patterns to choose. And then my brother-in-law came down. We had a family friend pass away on Sunday, and so, not this last Sunday, but the previous Sunday, passed away from COVID. And so he was coming down to, you know, pay respects to our friend, and it was his dad. And so he came down, and I was cross-stitching, and he had mentioned that he was the only, I'm gonna say sibling, he's an in-law, that I haven't stitched something for. And so he was guilting me into starting something for him. So I was kind of like, okay, fine, what do you want? Because I've stitched something for his fiance, and I've stitched, which is kind of funny, I've stitched something for her, not him. And then my other sister-in-law, I've stitched something for her, and my other brother-in-law, I stitched something for him, and all my finishes besides the one I showed you have all gone to somebody. And so he was like, you haven't stitched me anything yet. And so I was like, okay, what do you want? And he had just been talking about, and I'm probably gonna mispronounce the way it's said, but the Bayeux tapestry. And so he was talking about that, and I was like, well, what do you want? And he was like, well, if you can find some sections of the Bayeux tapestry, that's what I want. And I said, good luck, but we'll see. And so I got on good old Etsy to try to find something, and sure enough, I came across a Etsy page called Roland Designs, and it looks like they do a lot of kind of historical. There was like a Joan of Arc one, I believe, and some other ones. And he sold 3 different sections of the tapestry, and you could buy all 3 of them at a discounted price. So I bought all 3 because it was like $8 for all 3 of them. And I told my brother-in-law, I was like, I'll commit to doing one of them, and if it's not a big pain in the butt, then I'll do them, but I'm only committing to one. And so just a little bit of history, if you don't know what it is. The tapestry it's the depiction of the conquest of England by the Normans, and this was like in the mid 1000s. The tapestry or tapestry, whichever way you want to say it, is 230 feet long. It's on display now, I want to say in like Norway, it's probably wrong. It's just a very interesting kind of tapestry. I've looked at pictures of it, it's huge. And I'm not stitching all that. But it was said that it was stitched by Queen Matilda and her ladies in waiting, which is pretty neat. If you have all that time, you should look it up, Google it. It's huge. I don't know how anybody could have time to do this. And the scene depicts, this is the 23rd panel, and it's called Here Harold swore before the Duke William. And like in the picture, Harold is swearing before the Duke William while he has both his hands on two precious relics, one containing a drop of blood from the crucifixion and one the bones of the Bishop Raven and Rasselfie. And here is the picture. So this is what I'm stitching. It's all in black. You can get the website down there too. I'm stitching this one using GoodNotes because it's just easy for me to do. I don't like working off of paper, so I just use GoodNotes. So this is the first panel in the sequences of 3 that I got. I bought all 3 of them. This is the first one that I'm gonna stitch. I haven't been keeping track of stitch count because I was super into it. I started this Monday, so 2 days ago I started this, and that was Monday afternoon. I worked on it a couple hours on Monday, a couple hours yesterday, and I have not touched it today, but this, dang, I'm so bad. This is, no, that's not gonna work. This is as far as I've gotten. I'm doing this, so I don't know if you've ever seen that meme, but it says like, hold on while I overthink this. And that's kind of what I did, because this is it's huge. It is, I can tell you the dimensions of it. It's 210 wide by 140 high. That's just the one. Each one of these are about the same. So it was gonna be like a 4-foot long cross stitch. If I did it on 18 count or whatever, like the equivalent of the 2/1 would be. And I was like, how can I get this make it as small as possible? And then I was like, well, maybe I'll stitch it on 30 count 1/1. And then I was like, well, wait, that's gonna be difficult because then I have to like actually think about which way I'm stitching so the threads don't slip. I was like, so I'm not gonna do that. And I was like, well, I'm doing my full coverage on even weave, and that's kind of the same and it's doing fine. But then I got paranoid because I didn't want to start it and then it'd be all funky and have to restart. I did not want to do that. And so I was like, I'm just going to do it 18 count, 2/1, normal stitching, which makes it pretty big for just the one piece. And then trying to find the right fabric color because we didn't want white because it's supposed to be an old tapestry. So I wanted the natural one. Well, Hobby Lobby didn't have the natural one and I'm super impatient. And so I wanted it right then and there. That's just how I am. And so I ended up going with ivory. It's okay. I thought about coffee dyeing it, but then again, I wanted it right then and there. And I didn't want it to shrink either. So it was a hot mess. And then there was like the color choice. It's all in one color. And I was like, oh, I can do variegated. Well, then the variegated floss that he wanted, they didn't have. And I can tell you what color. I think it's 115. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm doing DMC 115. It's like the red ruby one. So I was like, but he wanted one that had like more like greens, and it was one of the newer DMC colors that came out. And so that's what he wanted. I was like, well, if they don't have it, then I'll decide. I'll surprise you. And then I was in my head and I was like, well, if I do variegated, then I can't do like one strand doubled over, and I can't stitch in hand, and I can't, you know, do like the half stitch one way and then back other way. I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. But then I was looking at all the colors and I couldn't decide on a color that I wanted. And so I was like, you know what, to heck with it. We're just gonna do the variegated floss. It's gonna take a little bit longer, yeah. Am I enjoying it so far? Yes. So I'm not like, but it took a lot of going back and forth. If I'm gonna do it this way, am I gonna do it that way? What am I gonna do? And so now we're here. I think if I do the other two, I'm going to do them in different variegated flosses. I don't know. The colors on the tapestry are like pretty muted, but they're like greens and blues and reds. But it is also about the conquest by the Normans. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be sick of red though by the time this is done either. So we'll see. Let me know what you think. If I should just do a different color, should I do a solid color? Probably not, because then it wouldn't match the rest of them. So we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That is all my whips. And that's my new start. I'm really excited about it. I've loved stitching on it. I haven't touched it today yet, which brings me into my plans. So I've decided, instead of trying to fit in multiple projects a day, last week my daughter was supposed to be out of town for a full week, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get all of the stitching done. I'm gonna get my guest room cleaned out. I'm gonna get my craft room cleaned out. I'm gonna get her playroom cleaned out. Everything's gonna be clean. My house is gonna be spotless. And then she ended up coming home 4 days early because my stepmom hurt herself and could not take care of her anymore, which is fine. I met her halfway, it was fine. But then all my plans went down the drain. And I realized I was not gonna be able to keep up with stitching on every single one of my projects every day. That's crazy. I'm a crazy person. Hello. So what I've decided to do instead is I downloaded that tiny decision wheel thing, and I put all my whips in there, and I'm just gonna focus on one a day. And so anytime I have any free stitching time, I'm gonna work on that project and just see where we go. It'll also kind of keep me from getting burned out on some of these. That sampler may not see the light of day again. We'll see. Part of me just wants to finish it and get it over with, and the other part of me is like, nope. And in the beginning of the video I said, if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. So we'll see. Maybe if I give it a little time out, I'll feel better towards it later. I'm just gonna do one whip a day. I'm gonna work on it. And I was thinking, because so I've got these 5 right now. I've got 5 whips going. Yeah, I got 5 whips going. I think I could make it to 7 and just do one a day. So then everyone gets a day of the week. Maybe. So I was going, well, while my daughter was gone, I was going through my cross stitch stuff and my whips that I just am not ever gonna finish. I decided are not for me, and I saved them to show you my I guess UFOs, show you the pile of shame is what I'm gonna call it, because it's just some of the reasons I stopped stitching them were so dumb. But first one is this piece, and it is I bought it online. I don't even know if I showed it in the last one or not. I don't think so. This is what it looks like. It's on this really nice, like, sparkly fabric. It was supposed to, it's called Christmas Bells. And it had like some little ribbon and some cute Christmas bells on it. And the reason I am no longer going to stitch this is because there's way too much backstitch in it. It's one of those like that's supposed to look super detailed, realistic ones. And it was giving me so much anxiety trying to figure out where these back stitches went that I was like, I'm not ready for this. This is not my cup of tea. I'm not doing this anymore. So I'm going to pick, I like this fabric a lot. It's like an 18 count sparkly something or another. And it's like an Aida. I'm going to pick out all these stitches. That's a lot of stitches. But I'm going to pick it out. And I'm going to reuse this. Or, you know, I probably could just cut this bottom half off and just use that. But I'm going to tear it out. So that's one. And that one was for no one in particular. Then I'm going to show you both of them side by side. So this is supposed to be, or was supposed to be, a cross-stitch gift for my sister-in-law, Paige. She really likes Harry Potter and Hufflepuff, and I don't really care about Harry Potter that much. So I started this one twice. And so here's the first one. And then I got all this done, and it says proud to be it just says proud to be, got most of it done, just needed that other side, and then there were some words. And I got off, this is supposed to be centered. It's not. And so like Hufflepuff would be weird. And I wasn't having it. This one I restarted because I didn't like the black showing through. You could see like a lot of the black through it, or the white through it. And I was doing it 2/1. I just wasn't happy. So I started this one first. Didn't like it. And then I did this on some like I just did some coffee tea dyeing on it. I'm not gonna rip these stitches out. I don't really like this fabric. I don't like it. I don't think I'm gonna do this one either. I think I'm just gonna cut it, you know, right here and use this for something else. But add that to the bucket of shame. And then let's see here. Oh, here's another one. So that I started twice. It actually, you'll see, there's actually 2 starts on this. Yeah, there's two different starts on this one. So we'll do this side first. Is there still like a, no. Okay, so here are these. One of them, this is the mouth part of a shark. And here's this one. I'm not even gonna bother. So this one's not off. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this one. I just did not like stitching it. It like all over to the side, it's supposed to say like nom 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 or something. And this was supposed to be for my brother-in-law, the one that I'm doing the tapestry for. But I didn't like it. And if I don't like it, I'm not gonna stitch it. And so that's just what it is. It was boring. I hated the pattern. It wasn't any fun. Whatever. So this, last time I talked about how I had restarted my labyrinth piece, this was my 3rd start. And so I'm going to show you how far I got on the other ones before I ripped it out and just said screw it. So here are my first 2 attempts. Doing the exact same thing. I don't remember why I stopped stitching. I think it was because I was doing these 1/1 uneven weave and the stitches were slipping, and I didn't realize that was like a thing that happened. So I got about 300 stitches in on this one, 300 or 400 stitches on that one, about the same on this one, and it's the same. I have no idea what I did on this one, but I hated it, and so I changed it, which I'm glad now I did now, but I did not. I was so mad before. Yesterday we were supposed to have a bounce house for my daughter, just for no reason at all, because we just like to have fun, and it was supposed to rain. The weather app the day before on Monday said it was 56% chance of rain, and so you can't, the motor, you know, will burn up. They won't let you do it in the rain. So I called and rescheduled for next Tuesday. Well, it did not rain at all yesterday. So when we woke up in the morning, there was like a 10% chance of rain. My husband took off of work for it, and so we didn't do that. We ended up going to a children's museum in Tyler, which is about an hour and a half away. We did that, and she loves it. We go all the time, and so that's what we did, as like a fun day instead. But our luck, next Tuesday it's gonna rain or something, and eventually we will have a bounce house and my kid will be able to bounce. You just never tell with Texas weather. It's a hot mess all the time. And that's all the fun stuff that happened. Besides my brother-in-law coming into town, it was fun for us, and sad reason that he came, but I mean, we still enjoyed his company. But yeah, that is all that I have. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my ramblings, then please consider giving a like and subscribe. I'm gonna try to put out a video every week. We'll see, with my kiddo running around. I have to do these during nap time because she's a hot mess. But other than that, I hope y'all have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.